All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Yes, if you could go ahead and turn on your cameras, we'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Your Honor.
Great, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Tracy, can you hear me just fine? Are you ready to go?
I can hear you and I'm ready.
All right, let's get started then. I'm going to go ahead and call proceeding number 23F-0033. This is a commission complaint filed by Orianna Armstrong against Baxter Water Services. This is a hearing I called to address the relief to be granted in this matter. If I could first have appearances. It looks like I have three people here with me. Mr. Jardin, Robert Jardin, would you like to tell me first who you are? Go ahead.
That's me.
Okay. Can you identify yourself and tell me who you're here with?
Robert Jardin, Baxter Water and Services.
What is your position with Baxter Water Services, Mr. Jardin?
Owner of the company.
Okay. Great. Oops. Okay, and then I see, is it Brian Krakes? How do you pronounce your last name?
Krakes, Your Honor.
Krakes? Okay,
Brian Krakes with the Attorney General's office here on behalf of trial staff of the commission. With me is my co-counsel, Katie McLaughlin.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Krakes and Ms. McLaughlin. Okay, and then I've got Sherman and Howard, and I don't see any names, so I'm not sure who is here from Sherman and Howard and who you're representing. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is James Eklund, and
Can you spell that, please?
Yes, ma'am. James is James. Eklund is EKLUND.
Oh, like the opera at CU. Okay.
and I'm here with co-counsel Hannah Mink, M-I-N-K.
Okay.
And our paralegal staff is Kelsey Kyle, who's also on your screen.
Hello, Ms.
And we are here representing Baxter Water Services.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Eklund and Ms. Mink. Okay. Before we get into the issues today, I just want to give a little bit of background about why we're here, because we hadn't received a response from Baxter Water, and I'm not sure, Mr. Eklund, that you're completely up on everything that's happened. So this proceeding was initiated by a complaint filed by Ms. Armstrong on November 7th, 2023. She alleged that Baxter Water had repeatedly turned off residential water service to her and to her neighborhood for repairs to water lines without sufficient notice to homeowners and residents before the water was turned off. In addition, she claims that even if notice of a shutoff was given, it was not given in a timely manner, and nor did it disclose the duration of the planned water outage, or was she able to reach anyone at Baxter Water to inquire about the length of the expected outage. So she filed this complaint with the commission to try and rectify that situation. On November 14th, 2023, the commission set this matter for an evidentiary hearing to be held on January 22nd, 2024. It also issued an order to respondent to satisfy or answer the complaint. The notice and the order were mailed to Baxter Water at the address for Baxter Water contained in the commission's records, but the commission never received a response from Baxter Water. So on January 17th, 2024, I issued decision number R24-0033, sustaining the complaint because Baxter Water had failed to respond. I vacated the January 22nd evidentiary hearing date and issued an order requiring Baxter Water to provide 48 hours of notice before shutting off the water again. However, because the complainant hadn't specified any other relief she was seeking, I had set this hearing to provide the complainant an opportunity to discuss and address what relief she is seeking. However, it appears, unless I'm missing something, that complainant has not appeared. And I just want to confirm with my legal assistant, Ms. Federico, you haven't heard anything from the complainant, have you?
No, I did not get a response from her to my email.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Krakis, let me ask you, have you heard anything from complainant?
Trial staff has not heard anything from the complainant.
Okay. Mr. Eklund, have you had any communications with complainant?
No, Your Honor, we have not. And I'm prepared when the time is right to detail when we did get notice of this, and it was very, very recently. So happy to go into that in further detail when Your Honor's ready.
Okay. I guess, why don't you go ahead? Well, my intent today was to clarify the relief to be granted, but if you want to provide some information as to how Baxter Water received notice of this, that would be great. And I guess my first question before you even begin is, I need to know what Baxter Water's address is.
Very good observation, Your Honor. It is not the address that was used by the complainant, which I think contributed to the delay in our finding out about this, Mr. Jardin's finding out about it, and
Okay.
us even finding out about this hearing. So we have the address that was used by the complainant was 239 Circle Lane, Pueblo, Colorado, 81006. That is not Baxter's registered business address, which is registered with the Secretary of State's website, is P.O. Box 7576, and that's Pueblo, Colorado. The 239 Circle Lane address that was used was not the business address for Baxter Water. We nonetheless, Baxter Water has taken delivery of chemicals at the 239 Circle Lane, Pueblo, Colorado 81006 address, but Mr. Jardin confirmed that he has not received any of the documents related to this matter at that address in any event. So
Can I interrupt you for just one moment? So you just indicated that the 239 Circle Lane address is the address that appears online for Baxter Water. It's the address that we have in the commission records for Baxter Water. My legal assistant conducted an extensive bit of research, and that is the address we have on file for Baxter Water. So if this is a different address that's listed, this P.O. box that you said with the Secretary of State's office, I guess two questions. One, why was that never provided to the commission? If Baxter Water is operating as a utility, it must do that. And second, you just indicated, if I heard you correctly, that that is an actual physical address for Baxter Water, that they're using it to receive, mailings, not mailing, but I guess deliveries. So why would they not receive mail at that address if it's listed everywhere else?
So, Your Honor, it does appear to be listed if you Google Baxter Water as the address.
Mm-hmm.
The address that has been used in the previous matters in front of the Public Utilities Commission has been the P.O. box number that I've given. And we've had a complaint that our firm represented Baxter Water on last year. And let me just start there. When the PUC and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment have sent Baxter correspondence in the past, violation notices or notices relating to a complaint called Valles, that was captioned Valles, VALLES versus Baxter. Last year, they all used PO Box 7576 and more importantly, used we were included in distribution of documents and correspondence as counsel to Baxter Water, and that has not happened on this matter.
Okay.
We had the same staff members, Chris Duncan, Deepesh Dipu, Aaron O'Neill, Brian Crakes, Katie McLaughlin, all assigned to this case, to the case here in front of you, and we're also assigned to the Valles matter. And all of these individuals are aware Baxter has counsel. We've been in frequent communication with these people over the last several months, including and leading up to November 7th, when this complaint was filed. We have had correspondence and communication since that date, and the first we heard about this matter from the state was yesterday, Your Honor.
Okay. Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, please.
I forwarded the Zoom email to my supervisor, who forwarded it to Mr. Eklund yesterday. When I double checked it yesterday to make sure I had the link, I noticed that Mr. Eklund wasn't on it. And so we provided it to Sherman and Howard as a courtesy. With regard to what Mr. Eklund is saying, and in terms of having the same staff assigned to previous cases, as Your Honor is aware, trial staff doesn't run the e-filing system. We are not the ones who serve process on opposing counsel. We have been in communication with Mr. Eklund about other matters, but we did not provide him notice of this because that is not something we do and not something that is our responsibility.
Your Honor, so, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to note that, I had a communication with my legal assistant last week when she was setting up this Zoom, because we were trying to figure out where to send the email. And she found an email address for Mr. Jardin in the other case, because, you had not entered an appearance in this one. And so she emailed this link to him as well. So that went out last week. So maybe you didn't hear about this until yesterday, Mr. Eklund, but it should have gone to Mr. Jardin last week at the email address we had on file for him.
Yes, Your Honor, to be clear, I said what happened this week was we heard from the state about this matter for the first time. Mr. Jardin corresponded with us on Thursday of last week about this because he had just heard about it. The email that we've found so far is dated, the earliest is Wednesday, January 31st at 2:03 p.m. was when Mr. Jardin received notice of this hearing. But if I can back up a second, there was no proof of service as required by 1205E in this matter, Your Honor. So we didn't receive service of this complaint or any of the documents that were proffered after the filing occurred on the 7th, including the setting of the hearing on the 14th, including the notice that was sent directly to our client in violation of the rules of professional responsibility and Rule 1205D, where a party is represented by an attorney of record and is not registered in the Commission's e-filing system. Service upon the party is complete upon service to the attorney of record. Baxter was represented by an attorney of record. The state knew it.
Well, wait a minute, Mr. Eklund. I mean,
we were not registered in the Commission's e-filing system as of November. to the extent service did happen, it was never served on us. I mean, like I said,
Mr. Eklund, I need to interrupt you for a moment because while it is, yes, the service was sent to Mr. Jardin, to Baxter Water directly, but your firm has not entered an appearance in this matter at all. So we would not serve you as attorney of record because you were not yet attorney of record in this matter.
we didn't know to file an appearance. We had been given no.
Well, but it was
indication
mailed
that this
to
was
your
a matter.
client, Mr. Eklund. So it is your client's responsibility then to reach out to counsel. I mean, let's
On Thursday of last week, Your Honor, is that sufficient notice for a hearing on Tuesday the next week?
the notice was sent out in mid-January to the address, to the physical address we had for Baxter Water. Now,
we have no receipt of that having occurred. Again, I'll just go back to the rules. 1205E says for any filing for which there is no certificate of service demonstrating service upon an amicus curiae, a pro se party, or a party's counsel of record in any of the identified forms, the commission will presume that the document has not been served on the omitted parties or counsel of record. This presumption may be overcome by an evidence of proper service. There's no certificate of service certifying mail or other form of service of the complaint to Baxter that we have seen. If we're incorrect, if there is a service of process here that we're missing, we would like to see it.
the certificate of service in the commission's files, in the commission's records, indicates that it was mailed to Baxter Water at the address 239 Circle Lane. Now you're telling, that's not the PO box. And as Mr. Kreik has said, I'm not the party responsible for doing the mailings, Mr. Eklund, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't take it out on me. But I'm just, that's what happened.
Not at all, Your Honor. I'm just saying we don't have it.
Okay, so what do you want to do, I guess, Mr. Eklund? What is your, would you like to move to, you're going to file a motion to set aside the order? What do you want to do?
Yes, I would move to vacate the order. We have not had any time to get into the process. When Mr. Jardin receives a complaint from a customer, he uses the American Water Works Association intake form that I believe he's prepared to go over today. And that elicits the requisite information for him and his counsel to get familiar with what's being alleged and what the facts are of the matter. We've had no opportunity to look into any of this or prepare an argument on the substance. We've not received proper notice, and we're just not prepared for that today. So we would move that, based on the lack of proof of service in this case and the failure to notify us as the attorneys of record for Baxter Water, that we vacate, that the order be vacated. And I guess that would be my motion, Your Honor.
Okay, well, and the motion will have to be filed in writing. So just to be clear, I'm going to give Mr. Kreik an opportunity to respond, please.
Your Honor, staff has no position on that. Staff has taken no position on the merits of this case. We intervened so that we could monitor the proceedings after the formal complaint was filed, but when nothing responsive was filed, staff hasn't made any filings. The only thing I would note is Mr. Eklund keeps referring to being the attorneys of record. I just want to clarify, the attorney of record needs to enter an appearance in each individual proceeding in order to be attached to that proceeding. So right. I would encourage you, Mr. Eklund, to enter a formal appearance so that you start getting the e-filings for this case. Other than that,
now that
Your Honor,
we know about it, we will absolutely do that, Mr. Kreik. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah. Other than that, Your Honor, staff takes no position on any of this. I would also note, Mr. Eklund referred to the American Waterworks intake form or something. This is a formal complaint proceeding, so it will, I presume, remain before the commission and go through the commission's process. But I leave that to Your Honor.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Puckett.
Your Honor, I guess, I should have moved instead of to vacate the order, or I guess in addition to vacating the order, I moved to dismiss since the complainant hasn't appeared at this hearing.
Well, I had already sustained the complaint, Mr. Eklund, to be clear, because we hadn't gotten a response from Baxter Water. So, she didn't appear, but this wasn't going to be the evidentiary hearing about it anyway. I only called this hearing today because I was unclear as to what relief she was seeking, and she wasn't clear in her complaint. One thing I do want to add is my legal assistant just sent me the record that the commission has on file. This is from the commission's Integrated File Management System, IFMS. And it says, Baxter Water, address 229 Circle Lane, Pueblo, Colorado. It does not have any P.O. box at all. So if that is incorrect and you would like Baxter Water to be receiving mailings at a P.O. box, then I would ask you, Mr. Eklund or Mr. Darden, to please go ahead and update that information with the commission, because right now what the commission has in its records, in its integrated file management system for Baxter Water, is 229 Circle Lane in Pueblo.
Your Honor, just a clarification, you're saying 229?
I'm old and it's small, but I think that's what it says.
We're at 239 on that physical address.
No. My paralegal my legal assistant, no, it's 239. Yeah, it's very small print, and I'm not young, Mr. Eklund. So
fair enough. Neither am I. I've got the same challenge. And so, if the motion to dismiss isn't appropriate, then I guess we're asking for Your Honor to vacate your order, and we can do so in addition to this oral request in writing, and we'll do that in addition to being filing our notice of appearance in writing as well. There is a CPCN transfer case and decision that shows the P.O. Box number 7565, and Sherman and Howard is listed as the attorneys of record in that case. We're registered with and we're known by the commission. I just have to say, I spent the vast majority of my career at the state of Colorado, and I just don't feel that we have been dealt with fairly in this matter. We're being held to, even if we'd have found out on, which we did find out about the hearing on Thursday, my co-counsel, Nick DeWeese, who worked with me on the matter, the Vallis matter last year, is unavailable for this hearing because he had a different hearing to attend. They couldn't be moved. I had to move a lot of things on my calendar to get this done. I guess I'm whining a little bit, Your Honor, but I don't want this to be the norm, that we weren't served. It seems kind of like a Kafkaesque dilemma where we didn't file our notice of appearance because we didn't know there was something to file our notice of appearance in.
And I'm sorry that all went down that way, Mr. Eklund. I really am. But honestly, there's a few things you can do to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. First of all, if you want a PO box for Baxter Water's address, it needs to be updated in IFMs, and we need to get some kind of a notice so that we can get that taken care of, because the only address I had on record was 239 Circle Lane, and that is the address to which it was sent. Second of all, it is not the practice of the commission, or I believe any court, to simply serve an attorney with a matter when it first comes in. A service is going to go on to the party being named, and then you will have to enter an appearance. And so it's going to have to be, if there are more complaints ever filed against Baxter Water, it's going to be up to Baxter Water to let you know that they came in. We're not going to be serving counsel without knowing that counsel is representing a party in a particular matter for obvious reasons. I mean, for all I know, Baxter Water doesn't want you to represent them in a case, or they can't afford to hire you anymore. It is not going to be the commission's practice to just be filing matters or serving an attorney that we don't know for certain has appeared on a particular case. So an entry of appearance is necessary for clear reasons. It's just
no question there, Your Honor. And I'm happy to take this up with Mr. Krakes offline, but if the shoe were on the other foot, as a professional courtesy, I would expect that I would call opposing counsel, especially since this has been going on since November 7th, that this matter has been in front of the commission. And like I said, we've been talking with staff. I'm not saying there's a rule that requires them to say anything about this, but just that's the professional courtesy I would expect. That's it. I'm not saying there's a violation of anything. I'm just that's my expectation.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Krakes.
If I may, Your Honor,
Yes.
I just like to clarify. Staff had no reason to believe that Baxter had not informed its attorneys of this complaint. We had no reason to believe that service of process had not gone through. We, like you, were not aware of the new address. And so, we informed Mr. Eklund when it finally became clear to me that he was attached to this, but was not given notice of the hearing. But I mean, staff is opposing counsel here. We are not, our role is not as legal assistants to Baxter or anything like that. Had we known that Sherman and Howard was interested in participating in this case and had not been informed of it by their client, we would have informed them, but we just had no reason to believe that or know that.
Thank you, and I appreciate that, Mr. Krakes. Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor? Could I clarify a little bit? Mr. Eklund, can I speak?
Your Honor.
Do you want to let your client speak?
Yeah, Your Honor, can Mr. Jardin address you?
If he'd like to, he may, of course.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Baxter Water has been in service since 1957. There was no address for Baxter Water, physical address. The 239 is right next door for physical deliveries, okay? That's how that 239 Circle Lane became. I have now been granted a physical address of 225 Circle Lane. The post office box was the only means of communication with Baxter Water previously, which was 7565 Pueblo West 81006.
That's different than the PO box that Mr. Eklund gave me.
I know. It's a typo. I did not know that. Surprise. In any event,
Wait, may I stop?
Actual address.
Which is the typo and which is the correct PO box then?
7565
PO box
Pueblo
7565
Pueblo West 81006 81007. I'm sorry, 7. It's Pueblo West.
Okay. So PO box 7565 Pueblo West zip code 81007. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is
Yes.
the correct address
The
you
phys-
want for Baxter Water.
Yes,
correct?
the physical address is 225 Circle Lane, Pueblo, Colorado, 81006.
Okay.
It only
Got
took
it.
75 years to get a physical address.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
I
Jordan.
apologize for the mix-up, man.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Jordan?
Thank you for clarifying.
That's how that happened.
All right. So, Mr. Eklund, I guess the address you gave me is incorrect. Is that right?
Yeah, if Mr. Jordan says that the 7576 is incorrect, then it's incorrect, and it needs to be 7565
7565. Okay.
Pueblo West.
I have made a note and hopefully repeated it multiple times on the record so that my court reporter has it as well. Okay. Mr. Eklund, I guess I want to ask you how you want to proceed. Mr. Kreikis, you have to want something.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I want to note for the record, I'm looking at the Secretary of State's website, and that is not the same address for service of process. So in the future, so that Baxter's customers can find the correct address, I would just request that the address be updated, both with the Secretary of State and with the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Kreikis. Yes, that's critical. What is the address that's listed on the Secretary of State's website?
The Secretary of State's website has the P.O. Box 7576. So my understanding is that should be 7565. I'm hoping I'm not messing up those numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I
Mr.
had
Jordan.
just submitted the update to the Secretary of State.
Great.
Correcting the mistype. Okay.
Got it. And if you could also send something to the commission asking, I'll pass it on and I'm trying to see if I can get it updated in our system, but it might take a request from you as well.
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Eklund, I guess the best way I would suggest proceeding is if you could go ahead and file an entry of appearance on behalf of Baxter Water. And whatever motion you feel is appropriate to handle this. I would note, though, I mean, the order sustaining the complaint, the only relief I put in there was to provide 48 hours notice before shutting off water to residential. I was even going to update it and say, except for emergency situations such as water main breaks.
Thank you.
If that's all you want to do and you don't care that that's what the order is, you might not even need to change it. Up to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There was no other relief. I mean, the complainant has not appeared. So there was no other relief I was going to grant, except to say, just let them know, I guess, and let them know 48 hours in advance if you're planning on turning it off, unless it's an emergency. And I guess also give them some idea of how long it'll be off. So if you want to live with that, then you might not even need to file a big motion. It's up to you. But let me know what you want me to, what your preference is, if you can.
Absolutely, Your Honor. We'll consult with Mr. Jordan, and if we can handle it with one less pleading and one less, one less matter that we have to bill Mr. Jordan for, then I'm sure he'll be happy about that.
Saving of time and money, and
That's acceptable to me, Your Honor.
Okay.
I want to say, however, this system is extremely degraded. It is past its useful lifespan, and it was put in with sprinkler piping. So I have failures quite often.
Okay.
I have to respond immediately. If it is a scheduled change, such as the putting in the chlorine system was on November 7th, I'll be more than happy to put out as much notice as I can. The 48 hours is certainly acceptable.
Okay, great. That's all where I think people are asking for, Ms. Jordan. I think everybody, and especially at the commission, understands that emergencies happen and they have to be addressed immediately, and it's not always possible to provide people with advance notice. But in those situations where it is, where something is planned, I think that's all people were asking for. So, Mr. Eklund, I'm going to ask you if you could go ahead and, when you have the chance, sooner rather than later, file some kind of a motion letting me know how you want to proceed. If Mr. Jordan is okay with the way I have crafted the relief so far, with a few tweaks to make sure that I'm clear about providing exceptions for emergencies and notification of duration if possible, let me know.
Will do, Your Honor. My only concern, I guess, remaining would be that the complainant is not the person that's listed on the Baxter Water records as being the resident at that address. So we're not even, when Mr. Jordan, all he saw when he got the initial email on November 7th was the name of the person, and he checked his list, and that person's name didn't appear. So he wasn't even sure he was dealing with a customer with this complaint. He had no address to reference, and when he did get an address, he went and cross-referenced that with his role, and it's not the same person listed there. So I think you've been very fair in the remedy that you've articulated here, and I think we, as Mr. Jordan said, would be happy with that. I just not sure, practically speaking, how to make sure we're not creating a situation where somebody that's not part of the Baxter Water customer base can get relief from the PUC,
right?
Or something. So that's the only, and that's like more of a logistical hurdle that we can figure out offline.
Okay. And honestly, Mr. Eklund, I mean, Ms. Armstrong has not appeared at this request for relief that I set, so I have no idea what she wants. I have no way of knowing whether she's a customer of Baxter Water or not. And given that she didn't follow up, I can't do that. But the general relief that I've kind of tried to craft isn't to her personally anyway. It's not like she's being awarded any damages. She would, there's no refund coming back to her. She didn't ask for anything like that. So I tried to keep it as general as possible. So perhaps we don't even need to, tie ourselves into knots trying to jump that hurdle.
Excellent. No, I think that makes sense. Thank you for crafting it the way you did.
I was just trying to be reasonable, because I know I would want to know ahead of time if my water's being shut off.
Absolutely.
If possible. All right. Anything else, Mr. Eklund?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Krakis?
Nothing from staff, Your Honor. Thank you for your time today.
All right, then I think that's all we need to do. And thank you all for being here. That was actually extremely helpful and productive. And we are adjourned. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You too.
Bye-bye.